Hello! Today we are making a traditional dish from England, family favorite, classic from England, called Toad in the Hole. It has this fun name due to what it looks like when it comes out of the oven. So let's get started and check out how to make this dish. You will need onion, any kind of sausages that you like, as well as flour, milk, and egg to make our batter. So let's get it started with our onion. What you'll need to do is to cut this onion into chunks. Best thing we want to do is cut this in half first, so we're working with a steady surface, putting the flat side of the onion down. So I cut that right through the root, that's okay, and I'm going to have my flat side down. Notice I didn't try to peel any of the wrapper or the paper off at all here first. Okay, so I'm going to put my flat side down, and I'm going to cut each end off. This is because I want it chunked. If I wanted it diced or sliced, I would keep that root on to help me with that, with what I needed for the recipe. So since I want this chunked, I'm gonna keep that flat side down. I'm gonna cut both ends off. Again, I did not start peeling it at all yet. Both sides come off. At this point, this is when it's easiest to peel. So take that peel off, and you'll do this for both halves of your onion. Now to cut in chunks, I'm going to cut it in half in one direction and a few times in the opposite direction. Don't cut too close to your fingers. Make sure you're really careful with that. I'm going to spread this around in the bottom of my pan here. It's okay if they stay in big chunks. They'll get moved around. That's all right. Again, the other side. Knife away from your fingers. Knife blade goes down towards the cutting board. And a few chunks. Poke a few holes in each sausage. This is because the air pressure is going to build up inside a sausage when it starts cooking. And you don't want the sausage to crack and look all different and unappetizing in different places. So you want to be mindful of how you arrange these based on how you want your dish to look in the end. All right, so my oven is preheated to 425. I'm going to sprinkle some thyme onto this dish. And then I'm going to add a generous amount of olive oil. It's really going to help brown up and help roast these onions. This is going to go in the oven for just 10 minutes to just get it to start cooking. And then I'm going to show you how to make the batter that goes in this dish as well. All right, so I'm ready to make the batter. The very funny thing about this recipe is that the batter is just equal parts of flour, milk, and eggs. So there's no real exact measurements on this. It's just if you have one container, just make it the same size container for all three items. So I have this ramekin here. So I filled it to the first upper top measuring point with the flour and my milk. And I wasn't sure how many eggs it was gonna be. My guess was about 4, so let's see if I was right on that, or maybe have to add another one or take one away. But be careful when you're cracking your eggs. You can crack on a flat surface that's clean. Once you get a little crack, open it up. Now very careful, I'm touching raw egg here, so I'm gonna wash my hands when I'm done with this. I'm gonna get my next one. Remember, I want equal parts, so I'm using the measurement on the ramekin, and I actually think I'm only gonna need 3 eggs here. Yep, exactly 3 eggs. This worked out great. Just a little tip, if you find that you get a little piece of eggshell into where you're cracking your eggs, try to use one of the sides of the eggshell to scoop it out. If you try to dig in there with your finger, it's really tricky to, it kind of swims all around. It's really tricky to get it out. Try to use one of the empty eggshells to get it out. So I'm gonna wash my hands and then I'll show you how this batter comes together in a moment. Dish, the batter, this makes what's called Yorkshire pudding. It's a very common side dish in England. But in this dish, it's all one thing. It goes with the sausage and your onions, and it's all kind of one complete meal here. This batter, this Yorkshire pudding, is really going to rise and puff up in the oven. So we have to be really careful when we kind of watch our food being cooked. We don't open the oven door for this one. We want to make sure that we let it rise and completely brown. It's going to be super delicious. I'm going to keep my oven temperature the same, and I'm going to now put this back into the oven for about 25 minutes. We're going to check on it periodically, but we're not going to open the oven door because we don't want any of that heat to escape. We want our dish to continue to rise and puff up, and we could check on it with the oven light. So that's what I'm going to be doing a couple times, just to take a peek on it and see how it's doing. All right, my timer just went off. This was the 25-minute timer for the toad in the hole to finish baking in the oven. I've been checking on it with the oven light and not opening the oven door. It's been looking great. I'm ready to take it out. Wait till you see it. Wow. Don't forget to turn off your oven when you're done. I cannot wait to taste this dish here tonight. It has risen and it is beautifully golden brown. Finishing up a gravy as well to go on top of it. You can make your own, or you can just use store-bought or whatever you have in your house, or another sauce maybe that you think would go well with it. And I also made mashed potatoes as well as a side dish, and I'm also going to steam up some broccoli to make this one big complete meal. So I hope you've enjoyed learning about the toad in the hole dish, very common in England, and try it out at home. If you decide to, let me know how it goes. Let me know if you changed anything up to suit your own tastes, or how this dish went in your opinion. Enjoy!